But then, most people weren't used to coming across dead bodies, if somebody was dead. On that thought, Jim grabbed his smoky hat from the seat beside him and climbed down fast. "Ma'am," he said. "You put in a call?" She stopped and took a ragged breath. Pretty enough, but no makeup at all, and the ponytail was messy. "Henry, Mr. Cavanaugh, he's dead. At least, I'm pretty sure he's dead. He's not," she swallowed. "Not moving. He looks stiff."
"Where is he?"
Jim headed for the house and she followed behind. "Downstairs. Dan."
"What's your name?"
"Eileen. Eileen Hendricks. I'm the cleaner. That's all. I just came to clean. I'd done the whole upstairs already." The pitch of her voice was rising, becoming nearly hysterical. "Well, he was down there all the time," Jim said.
"Come with me, please, ma'am. Show me."
One of the oversized, ornately carved double doors was standing open, as if Eileen had come flying out of it, which she probably had. Jim went on in with her following behind, and took a quick look around the soaring entryway and the 2-story-high wall opposite that was lined with river rock interspersed with Henry's proofs of manliness. Nothing as insignificant as a deer had been allowed to pollute the trophy wall. A couple of elk, an antelope, a bighorn sheep, a mountain goat. On the floor facing the door, an enormous black bear reared up on its hind legs, its heavy clawed paws out in front of it, its mouth stretched wide in a snarl, showing all its teeth. Hell of a welcome mat. Everything looked neat, nothing out of place. But then, Eileen had been through here already. "Downstairs," she said, indicating the wide stairway.
"Don't touch the banister, please,"
Jim said on the way down, although if she already had, it wouldn't matter much. An open corridor stretched out before them with a few doors leading off it. Only one of them open, at the back of the house. Jim stepped into the den, and there he was. Henry Cavanaugh, the least popular man in paradise. Dead as a doornail. "It was all locked up," Eileen insisted 15 minutes later. She was still shaky. Jim had told her to get herself a glass of water, but it was sitting untouched on the blocky marble coffee table. The two of them were upstairs again, sitting on the living room couch under a giant window that looked out onto an endless landscape of rolling hills, an ever-changing scene more picturesque than any painting, all dusty golds and browns now, with harvest complete. The couch was white and pristine, and Jim would have bet that nobody had sat on it in years. Eileen had vacuumed it already, she'd said, and all the upstairs carpet, too, as well as taking lemon pledge to every surface. If there had been evidence up here, not that evidence was going to be needed, if Henry's had been a natural death, it was gone. The ambulance had left without Henry, because Jim had sent it away and called in the crime scene team and the doctor. Because of who Henry was, because the TV hadn't been on, because of all sorts of things. The body was in full-blown rigor mortis, which meant Henry had died the previous night at the earliest. He was always at his office until after 5, keeping an eye on his staff to make sure nobody took off early. If he hadn't been there the day before, Jim would find out soon enough, and it was at least 50-50 that he would have turned on the TV as soon as he'd entered his den, even before pouring himself a drink and sitting down. The baseball season was winding up, and Henry was the kind of guy who, when he went into a bar, made the bartender turn on the TV right away, even if nobody else wanted to watch. It was probably a heart attack, a stroke, something like that. He'd been drinking something, though. Bourbon, by the smell of it, and he'd keeled over and died. A guy without known health problems, who'd bragged about how his doctor called him a bull, with one of those looks that